When you were doing the CBA in 2011, it was right after the economy turned.
Right.
And the owners were like, oh, this is, this league's going out of control. Like,
Right.
Meanwhile, they were all making a profit anyway, and the teams were increasing in value. How did they get away with that?
Well, because I think fans and not you, obviously, but a number of journalists are content with repeating the frame. And the frame is, it's a game. And the frame is, for people who want to watch the game, it's, well, I would play the game for much less than what these guys are playing, and they should be thankful for the opportunity. The only problem is you can't play the game at their level. Right. Our guys play for 3.5 years, and the owners own the teams for decades. So when you explain,
and they were rich
to people,
to begin with.
They're loaded to begin with, and so it's. These are some of the same people who obviously, are born into the league. They inherit the team, but walk around as if they invented football. Well, no. Our guys are the people who get their fingers broken, their heads concussed, their knees shattered. They play for a short period of time. The injury rate's 100%, and that's the frame.
What did you say? It was 1,800 players, and there's 4,500 injuries a year?
Right. So
it's like 2.5 injuries per player.
If football is the sport where the players have the shortest careers and incur the most injuries, shouldn't that be the sport where the players have the largest share of revenue?
Sure. Are you ever going to get an argument from me? Oh, absolutely. It should be the place where they have the largest shares of revenue. It should be the place where their contracts are fully guaranteed against injury. It should be the league that has the best post-career or longest term of health care. But the reality of this is all of those decisions are made in the prism of unions fighting against management.
Well, let's talk about that, because in 2011, the revenue share that the players got, I think it used to be 53% in the 2006 CBA. And now the current deal, which started in 2011, it was 48%, now it's 47%.
Right.
At the same time, you have all this digital money, you have all this streaming stuff coming in, and the owners are making more money than they've ever made before. And I think the best way to look at it is just to look at the Packers. The Packers are the only ones that have their books open. And the Packers, I think in 2010, they made about 10 million in revenue profit.
Right.
Last year, they made almost 50 million.
Right.
So is it fair to say that this wasn't a great deal?
No, I think it was a great deal for the players.
Really?
Absolutely.
Because you've taken a lot of crap for that.
You know what? My job is to take a lot of crap. And I take it at home, I take it from everywhere else. What most fans don't know is for years, the players have invested in stadiums. So you look at Jets-Giants Stadium, for example, hundreds of millions of dollars of player money went into that stadium. The problem with the 2006 deal was that the owners controlled how many shares went to them every year of revenue. So it was dropping 1% a year. So what we decided to do was to present a hard line that we will still contribute to these stadiums, but our overall share of revenue doesn't decline below 47 point something.
Wait. What I don't understand is you're making it sound like you're relatively powerless in these negotiations.
No.
I don't understand why you can't go to the owners and say that this league, the players in this league deserve a greater share of revenues than other professional sports athletes.
I mean, I would say like 55% seems fair.
But what labor management paradigm in America gets deals done based upon the arguments that you make? None of them, right? I mean, you look at the workers of Verizon. They made, I'm sure, great arguments of why the workers should be entitled to more health care or more money. But what did they have to do? They had to go on strike. So our labor management paradigm is not predicated on how good of an argument that you make. In America, workers get benefits when workers are willing to either go on strike or withstand a lockout.